sexy.
What's up, sexy?
And you don't care what they say. See, every time you turn around, they screaming your name. Just know you're sexy.
What's up, sexy?
And you don't care what they say. See, every time you turn around, they screaming your name. Now I've got a confession. Ha 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 ha. When I was young, I wanted attention. Ha 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 ha.
Anthony McHie. The last name was MC, capital H-I-E. I first got introduced to the arts, and I say the arts because it's broad. Filmmaking is broad. I started out doing stage plays as a young kid, and went on to, I was raised in Minneapolis and went on to the Guthrie Theater at a very young age. After that, I listened to adults that told me to take a pragmatic path with my life, and I made that decision and went forward and I still have a decent career as a day job, but when I would go to bed at night, I would go to sleep and I would dream full-length feature films. And so I got to the point where it was like interfering with my sleep. So I started writing, and this was, I was 20-something years old. I started writing, and then it got to the point where I started liking my writing so much that I wanted to start making it into movies. And so I made a natural progression of one day I bought a camera. So let's go make some movies. And like any art, like the first few movies that I made were horrible. They're horrible, because I didn't go to film school. I don't have the benefit of having all that structured class knowledge that a lot of these folks do now. So, but after a while of persevering and keeping at it, you know, you make a list of all the things you did wrong. So when you start moving forward, you keep that list in mind so you don't make those mistakes again. That's critical for the development of any artist, is to see what you've done bad in the past and avoid that before you even get to that point where you're making that decision. So flash forward to now, I've made over 2 dozen movies and have gotten awards and stuff like that from film festivals. And so now I'm at a point where like all the films that I've done or the pilots or whatever, they're sub like 1 hour. So I'm making the move right now where I'm moving forward with feature film.
So when I looked at your resume, I was like, I can't, because you know how like the original poster had my credits on it. I was like, there's no way I can fit this on anything. So I would just put his name on it.
It's huge, right?
Take a Google.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what to do with this. So I'm Amber Nicole Smiley. I'm an actress. I have lived and worked in Arizona, LA. Not lived in LA, but I worked in LA, and I live here in Atlanta now. I've been here for 6 years. As far as I go, I was at a nice little point where I was in Arizona, and I had been acting, started out in reality TV for the most part. And this was years ago when reality TV was not as ratchet and ghetto and full of fights and drama.
Right.
It was very mundane. And after being on set for all those hours, I was like, okay, I do enjoy this. Like I always worked in a restaurant, and if you can spend 16-hour days on your feet, no break, grabbing food, or 16 hours on set, I saw the difference in it, and I saw the difference in me, how I was waking up at 6 a.m. Like I was ready to go, I was excited. Even though I was still a little tired, I was still very excited. And I remember them asking me on set, "Are you okay? You alright?" I'm like, "I'm good. I'm so happy right now." Like, and they gave me lunch. I was like, "Oh, okay." So for me, that confirmed what I already knew, that I loved it. And being in Arizona, I had a choice. I had the money to move to LA. I had and it was a nice time in my life where I was like, I can go to LA, I can afford it. And I remember sitting on my balcony, and I literally had a conversation with God. And he said, "I need you to go to Atlanta." Why would I go to Atlanta? I want to go to LA. I'm an actor. I want to go to LA. That doesn't make any sense. And he was like, still small voice, "I need you to go to Atlanta." I'm like, this doesn't make any, there's nothing about Atlanta that says actor. Why would you have, okay. I said, if you want me to go to Atlanta, give me a sign. A pickup truck. This is how they move in Arizona sometimes. This is how I moved to Arizona. Pickup truck with my kitchen table drove past, and like I could see the chairs. The exact replica of my kitchen table. I said, okay. And a week later, I'm still going at it. I'm a little harder.
That wouldn't close the door.
That wasn't good enough.
Okay,
I was like, okay, give me, you want me to go to Atlanta? Still don't make And I was like, give me another sign. U-Haul truck, hit the corner. I said, okay, we're going to Atlanta. Got here, sat around. I'm like, what do I do? Because I didn't have to work at the time, which was lovely. But I was like, what do I do? Started making some phone calls, and I ended up on a film set as an extra.
Okay.
But it was a film set. I was good with that.
Right.
And of course, over the next 6 years, you've seen what Atlanta has turned into. And of course, God was right.
He was right, yeah.
So I started off modeling when I found out I wasn't gonna be 5'8" and negative 90 pounds. I chalked that up and I was like, I don't know what I want to be exactly when I grow up, but I always did act. In the back of my, like I kind of put the school place aside when I wanted to model. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be an actress.
Okay.
And I have that, even before the move, I was acting already because reality TV has some acting in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was good with it, so I was just, I was set. That's what I wanted to do. And just like Anthony,
Right.
when you gonna get a regular job, when you gonna go into corporate, when you gonna go back to school, and I'm
Right.
like, at this point I'll be damned if after all of this don't work. So I was like, I'm gonna do it.
Promise myself that I'll do anything.
Nonetheless, okay. Questions? We'll get into it. You ready? We ready?
Yeah. Oh,
Except
really?
for
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we'll go.
Anything at all for them to notice me.
That's a great question.
Go ahead.
I still don't have like a support system saying keep it going. It's really all, it's all inside, right? Like I said, my family were the ones that saying you need to get that 9 to 5. Elle used to work with me at the 9 to 5, one of the 9 to 5s. So yeah, and it's always been, do the pragmatic path. So it wasn't until I realized that this life is short. You have the things inside you that make you uniquely you that you have to just listen to. You have to obey them, and so that became my journey when I started obeying. So,
I think anybody goes through a little bit of both. If you are a person within about your mid-20s, early mid-20s, you don't get a shift in friends, you're probably not progressing. And if you know that you want to do something outside of it, like all my best friends went to college, did all of that. So I never had people directly in my life, except for family, who of course just want to be concerned, say, go get the regular job. Well, we got this job open at our company, you come train, and you don't need the college education to do it, you come work your way up type of thing. And I also had people that were like, I just random inboxes, people signing, things for me, like I did massage school, so when we left, we all had our little sign, I was like, you're gonna be a big star. They always knew. But in dating, which is always a fun thing, I've dated a couple guys that did not support what I did, and I think that that's a big red flag, that if you know the direction you're going, you're gonna get older, you're gonna take on a lifelong partner at some point in time, that's a very big deal breaker if you know what you want to do now. But I've had all different type of people, and you have to choose who you want to stay, and it's your choice. Because you can have somebody that, I have honest friends, I have had mean people, and there's a difference. Your honest friends are the ones that tell you, you got bills, you need a job, keep your job, don't quit your job before you get another job, make it a job, not a career, since this is what you really want to do, or you need to work on this some more, I'm gonna come over reaching lines with you, whatever. And then you have people that go, I don't know why you want to do this, I ain't never seen you do this, and you know the odds of it's like basketball, and it's like, but this is what I love, and if I know I'm not gonna give it up, you gotta ride with that, or you gotta go.
We all wanna be famous, so go ahead and say.
So so we've got folks at different levels here. So for someone who's starting out, you have to map your course. Like, what is my goal? Is my goal to ultimately just get an agent, right? Because that's like a lot of actors will tell you that's the first and most important goal. Get an agent. Agent will get you work. Agents work with independent actors that work with SAG eligible, that work with SAG actors proper. So there's getting an agent, and there's getting part of SAG, and then it's like from there. But that's all. So this is the business side, right? And there's also the craft side of it, right? What type of an actor are you? Are you more of an Adler actor? Are you more of a Meisner actor? And that being said, like, how do you get to hone your craft even better, right? So there's dozens of acting schools out there right now. important to know that the first several jobs that you work won't necessarily be like Walter's. You know, it won't be like, you won't luck out and get sagged off the break. It doesn't happen like that. So you'll be working, you'll probably work with Walt, who's making films, right? So if he's interested, you know, work with folks. Huh?
I'm always
Always, look at that, look at that. You'll work with local directors, local filmmakers, and you'll work for them for free. That's how it works. And that might mean that you're doing long hours on the weekends. That might be you're doing during the night. You do what you have to do to get material for your demo reel. Because an agent isn't going to be able to pick you up sight unseen. They're going to say, well, I need to know, you know, L, another one who's locked out. You know, he worked opposite of an agent, right? You're not always going to be that lucky, so you'll have to submit to them a demo reel, right? Which is going to be a series of different things that you've been in, right? So that means that you've got a very difficult job trying to figure out what local filmmakers are actually doing good work. You know, look them up on the web, on like YouTube, because there's web series locally shot, like Black and Single. Like what?
a lot
of them, yeah, like Easy, like yeah. So there's a lot of stuff being shot locally, local filmmakers. You could call them up and they'd be like, oh yeah, sure, let me see if I can find something for you.
Wanna know what your name is? 'Cause see, when I was younger, I would say.
One, my biggest thing about today was let me give you the business side to it. Let me teach you how to do certain things. So when he says clip, if you don't want to pay for a website, get a YouTube page. And then a lot of times when you send your auditions out, you'll send them out under a private link. Or you'll make it public and you just send them a link. So it's between what they ask you for. And then that page is probably something you don't publicize because usually you have your phone number and your information at the beginning of your auditions.
When I grow up, I wanna be famous, I wanna be a star, I wanna be in movies. When I grow up, I wanna see the world.
This is the part where you write it like how to start. My best, I tell everybody this, start with 3 different extra sets. I'm talking about the ultra low budget, where you go get your own lunch, where you be standing outside on a day like today.
While the stars are inside.
Yeah, while they inside looking at you, you know, they eating nice cater food and you want to get your own lunch. Do a Tyler Perry set where he caters everybody, you eating and you sleepy because you got the itis after, and you're heated and you're cooled, and do whatever else. Go be a music video extra, go do an indie film, do all of those so you get an idea, one, of what's expected of you, the hours. You get a chance to pay attention to the directors, you get a chance to pay attention to the actors. As an extra, I saw Kim Fields direct, awesome. You know, so when I work with her, I know what she expected of me in the future. You know, you get a chance to really see how, like I said, how long the hours are, what you're expected to do as an actor, all of the little ins and outs that you get to learn on set if you are paying attention and you're not there to act up. The fact that you need to be on time. If you're late, they'll send you home. If they have to look for you, you're a problem. You know, all of those things are just set etiquette that you know how to be quiet when you're supposed to be quiet. And there really is no difference in sit-around time between a lead and an extra. You know when you're going to set and when you have to shoot, but you really don't. You still have a lot of sitting around to do. And if you can't get through that, then it may not be, if you're still not happy after those 3 incidents, or those 3 days on set, then maybe it isn't for you. If you're still excited, then maybe it is. But before you invest in classes and headshots and all, do extra work. After you do your classes, you do your skills. Your skills are your fencing lessons. Your skills are your
Tools in the box.
your horseback riding, your
Motorcycle.
wrestling, your
Skateboarding.
all of that, your baseball, the things that you can do on camera well. And that they don't have, that's even part of your extra. We need people that can ride bikes. We need people that can serve tables. We need people that can, I have smoked cigars on mine, and I've seen castings for smokers. You know, seriously. So those little things, and I'll always remember, like, I could do that, put that on there. You know, I did that in high school, put that on there. Volleyball, softball, stuff I don't do now, but I know how to do. Put that on there, and then you get your education. So you go to your classes, you get, you know, certain people on your resume. And I always tell people, you can audit a class, which is sit in it, see if you like it. Make sure you get a teacher that teaches you. Now, the transition goes from extra work, you get your classes, your skills, your education. Then Once you're there, then you honestly start at indie films. Because that's your nice little, that's when you get to apply everything. You get to go on your auditions, but they're a little bit nicer, just by a little bit. And you can start working on set. Now what happens is usually you go from extra work, which is paid, to indie films, which are usually, for the most part, unpaid. So you go from making money where nobody sees you to not making money where you're seen a lot more. But that's when you begin to build up your reel. That's when you begin to build up your snippets and your clips. That's where you start to get your credit. But again, you are not working for a paycheck for the most part at that point in time. Then you take those, you continue with your classes, then you go into looking for an agent. Then what happens again is you go from having an agent to making money. And just because you have an agent doesn't mean that all of a sudden you don't look for work yourself. You keep looking for work yourself. Okay, if I had to be here with this person or this person for 16, 18 hours, I want to be with the person that has a good attitude. I will take a little less talented because they're never really going to know what this talent was bringing anyway. But if I got to be stuck on set with you 16, 18 hours, I want the person with the good attitude, that's not complaining. Not complaining, on time. I had a producer produce the project. Because he was a producer, found out he was the lead, made himself the lead, which you can do, was late every single day of production except for the last day. We didn't finish the project. We couldn't finish the project.
Imagine that.
Because we take off of work these certain amount of days to shoot. You're late every single day, and then every day that we're supposed to be shooting, that schedule is pushed back. 2-3 hours late, push back. So we got to take it to the next day. And when you have locations, those locations have you booked in for those times. So then you're pushed back, money gone. That's a problem. Your problem. But you're the producer, you think you can't be a problem. Once you get a title, you have responsibilities and your actions behind that title. So whether it's producer, director, extra, lead, supporting, grafting, everybody has to be on board to be on time and to be about their business. Because it's show business.
One, when you evaluate these indie projects that you might be a part of, it's okay for you to ask around. Hey, have they ever put anything out? Look up their website. Look at the quality of their work they do. If the quality of their work isn't very good or it hasn't been getting better, chances are you're either not gonna see your footage ever again, or what they produce is gonna be at par with what they've already produced.
Glass ceiling. They can't get above.
If they are not rising, ultimately getting better each time. How about that? So you're evaluating your production companies, and is this really worth my time? When you're on set, that's the time you can actually find it. Sometimes if you're an extra or even background talent or even a smaller role, you might get your direction from the first, but likely you'll get a role and you'll be able to start developing a relationship with a director. And you'll learn how important that is and how it's different from one director to the next. Some directors like to scream at their actors, but guess what? You gotta be ready for that and know he just likes to scream at his actors. Like, I'm gonna do this to the best of my ability. He's screaming at me, and I'm gonna do it the same, I'm gonna do it the way, I'm gonna try to give him what he wants, but his screaming is not a demotivator, you know what I mean? But anytime you get any type of resistance or difficulty from directors, you know what I mean? Because you'll get some, right? Just know that what you're doing is your best as far as the craft is concerned, you know what I mean? You can't take that stuff personally. People have incredible egos on set, right? They do. And so it's just a matter of letting all that be water off of a duck's back. You know?
And not breaking your mood or your character while you're on set, because, spiritual beings inside of human bodies are what everybody is. So if you get shook because you had a moment,
right,
you got to snap back into character, but maybe you in tears or you want to quit, and it's like you have a job to finish, whether you like it or not. And they may be just trying to test you to see if you, oh, okay, he got through this, okay, we're going to use him again. And you just have to be flexible.
Yeah.
and a good actor, because you need to act like it's not bothering you with.
There's all kind of directors out there. There are directors out there that will coach you, will be nurturing, pull that performance out of you, talk to your soul. And then there's directors who you won't hear nothing from. Like they'll be like, okay, this is the scene where this page number, okay, go ahead.
Go.
And action. Like,
Set up the shot.
they'll disappear.
Stand.
They're like, okay, let's do another one, and action. And another, and another. You're at take number 30-something, and he hasn't told you what he's looking for.
Right.
It just happens. You know what I'm saying? It just, you just gotta start giving them in the good technically the good thing to do when that happens is give them different options. Like he might be doing that because he doesn't even know what he wants.
I say, my personal opinion is, get your look together before you even start taking your classes. Because once you take your classes, you're gonna sit next to somebody that might go, I want you in this, send me a headshot. Or so-and-so's doing this, send me a headshot. You need to figure out who you are, and that's from everything. You're gonna have long hair, short hair, blonde hair, facial hair. You're gonna lose weight, gain weight, tone up. Are you going, what are you going to look like? And then you have to figure out who you are. And what I mean by that is, in my head, I may be something, but all this year I was a gun-toting mistress. You understand what I'm saying? So what I went to audition for was not the role that I was getting. Now, I could be a bad or a good thing. Both areas help, because
Yes.
I've seen great directors that can pull out of the actor what they need because they've acted, and they can translate what they need you to do in actor terms to get you to do it, because what they're seeing is totally different from what you may be giving. So a lot of, when you fluctuate different, at least bounce to something one or two good times, because it just helps you to be understanding and professional on the other side of it, because you know what somebody needs from you because you're on the other side of it. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yeah.
You're only going to be limited by how finely you can refine your own craft. You know what I mean? There's character actors out there, and there's actors that are strong characters themselves, like Denzel. Whatever he plays in, he's pretty much always going to be Denzel. You can always know that's Denzel. You know what I'm saying? But then there's characters out there like that can be like a million different people. You know what I mean? And so figure out who you are. If you can do impressions or whatever, that's the inroad to having multiple personalities, multiple characters that you can bring out for the proper time. You know what I'm saying? Elle touched on Stanislavski was basically the father of method acting out of Russia, late 1800s, 1900s, and then but off of that, the American version of method acting has there's three different I guess subsections of it. One of them is by Stella Adler, one of them is Strasberg, one of them is Meisner, right? And they all stress different things, but the point of it was when Stanislavski came out, that was like the turning point. Theater and acting, because it wasn't a film at that point, became a thing that used to be all performance, all get it to the back row, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't something you felt, right? And method became a way for you as an actor to own that moment in the emotion, own the emotion. You're not putting it on, but you're actually feeling that emotion. You're in that moment, having that emotion. The way that Meisner does it is he says, just memorize the lines flat. Don't put anything in it until you're in the moment. Respond, react to whatever you're given. And where the term acting is reacting came from. Adler has always been big on the imagination of the actor. So you can, the thing about Stanislavski, what he focused on was having sense memory. You've lived in X number of years, and at some point your dog got ran over, or your grandmother died, or whatever you had the sad event, right? So then when you're actually working and your character has that sadness, you harken back, you have a sense memory of that pain, bring it back up, bring it to the surface and cry. So there's the reason it got branched off into 3 different groups, because there's not a whole lot of belief that that's totally 100% reliable all the time. You know what I mean? And so that's why Adler is big on having the imagination of, and the empathy of the actor, being able to get into the character, know what the character should be feeling, but empathize with them so much to that point you're feeling that. And then Strasberg is still one of the purists who believes in sense memory, but finds creative ways to allow sense memory instead of it just to be that car accident or that passing grandmother. Every time it evolves as time goes on. Yeah. So, okay.
I ain't complaining. We all wanna be famous, so go ahead and say what you want.
Knowledge was one thing that really helped me relax. I had 2 auditions in a short period of time. One with a very big casting agent here in Atlanta. Bombed it. But what I knew was when I get on set, I'm awesome, but you have to pass the audition process.
Right.
And even if you fail the audition process, or you don't get picked, I won't say you fail it, you don't get picked for the audition, that doesn't mean that they don't look at you and go, that was still good, I'll use you later, I'll call you back to something. But I bombed it. I was like, I know how to fix it now, thank God. But I was at a point where I said by any means necessary. And vodka is not for yes, vodka. Because I relaxed, but once I start, and I'm not sitting there, I'm just sitting drinking the whole time, but you know, I space it out, and I'm happy by the time I get in my audition. Because I was literally, I can't keep bombing these auditions. For me, it was by any means necessary. Vodka. Once I started to do that, and I applied the knowledge that I had, which was hearing from a casting director's mouth. When we're at that table, correct me if I'm wrong, we get paid from the company to cast a project for 4 weeks. If we can cast that project in a day,
Oh yeah.
we got 4 weeks off and our money. We did our job. So we want you to come in that room and succeed. We're human. We want you to come in that room happy. We don't want you to be nervous. If it's not fun, don't do it. Something else I heard. Have fun when you walk in that room. Hey, how you doing? You don't shake hands. As far as etiquette goes, I know we in the South, but you don't shake hands. You come in, hey, how you doing? Here's my info, what you need. All right, let me get down to business. Once you leave, let it go. You can start over when you first start reading your lines, but keep going if you've already gotten pretty much thrown, even if you mess up.
Don't even stop and act. Don't stop for nothing. Stop, stammer, I don't care. Get mad, throw the script down, whatever, but you're still there. Let that go.
Hold on. Don't forget though.
Yeah, because I want to jump on this one too.
And realizing that the person behind the camera is human. They're not there to beat you down. They're human. And they want you, like I said, to succeed. So applying all of that knowledge just helped me relax a lot more. Cold reads was one of my worst things. Picking up a piece of paper in the waiting room, holding it, and now I gotta go in here and in my head I thought they wanted you to know everything on that paper like a great actor right at that moment. And you don't even have to drop the script. So knowledge for me was a big part of really going in there. And now something I heard that was awesome, I don't go to auditions, I go to book, period. And that's my confidence when I walk in. But you have to find that thing that gets you relaxed. For me, it wasn't the vodka per se, but it was the application of knowledge.
Right.
You know, it's not this big pressure-filled thing like you think it is.
Right.
I ain't complaining. We all wanna be famous, so go ahead and say what you want.
The wall is real. It's real. So, but it's also a muscle, right?
Bring it on now.
So for some folks, when they start crying, they got a limited number of tears, right? And then they're done,
Right.
and you can't get it back out.
Right.
Most folks, though, they start crying as the day goes on. They're more sensitive, they're more raw, and that's what that wall is. One of the most rewarding experiences I had was with another actress who this is a long time ago, we were approaching this material. So before we even approached this material, we knew how sensitive, how introspective, how probing it was, right? It was not something you could bullshit with, excuse me. So we would sit, and as awkward and as uncomfortable as this was, we would get about this close to each other's faces, right? I mean, it's pretty much you're naked with each other at that point. And we would just stare at each other for X number of minutes, right? Not a staring contest, it's like being naked with that person, right? So then we would work out the scene, and we would get more and more raw as time goes on, and find you that person, and then get another person and another person. It's the muscle. It's because that wall is your safety, like in the real world, right? And you're tossing it off, and it's not easy to just toss off, but you got to get in positions where you allow yourself to toss it off again and again and again, till tossing it off just becomes, it's the muscle, and it's so strong you toss it off. You know what I mean?
And two things, I want to make sure I say this. I think the difference between an okay actor and a great actor is being able to go there.
Right.
You're there to do a job, and then remembering like my okay performance and my great performance is getting out of myself, because I'm no longer me. I'm supposed to be embodying this character, and this character would do this, and going there. And then the other thing, and you've heard me say this before, as humans, the most unnatural thing, like even if you look at this room right here, we can kind of look at you guys better. Y'all have never met before, ever, and you're spaced out. Everybody's spaced out. Anthony and I are only going to sit next to each other. This is the position we're sitting in because we've met. It's too much. And we've met before, so we have a rapport, so we can sit naturally next to each other in real life. But in real life, you're separate. So when you have a role to play, you have to act as if you know each other and be comfortable being this close to somebody you've never met before. And it's unnatural as a human, but you have to understand it's natural as an actor. I had 2 love scenes in a week with people I ain't never met. Crash courses. And it is the most awkward thing. People are like, how do you, it's awkward. But you have to understand these 2 people in this scene know each other, and you have to remember what familiarity feels like, looks like, and then you have to go there. But like that class, and I was like, grabbed him and close, and he was like, oh, but naturally you're like, oh, what's happening? But in a scene, if we know each other, we're close, we gotta act like we know each other, we're close, and you go there. But I think that's the biggest thing across between nerves, or your original question. What you're taught as a human has to get thrown out the window when you're trying to act.
And those nerves get in the way of pulling that wall off.
Yeah.
Right? No, I mean, and that's okay. Like, there's the real world, and then there's acting, right? It's okay. If between you two, it's safe, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? And you find more and more people that you can throw the ball off, and you can throw it off quicker the more you expose yourself to it.
Yeah, that's good. Because, I mean, when you get used to doing it, you get used to doing it. And it does become, and I think the thing that people feel uncomfortable about is taking that moment and just being close to somebody and being in a room and being vulnerable. And anybody, especially men, you're a lot more sensitive with this than women are, being vulnerable. Because when you're in an acting class, or you're in a room full of people, or you're half naked in a scene with a camera crew, you know, you're hoping that everybody is respectable for what you're about to do. That nobody's like, that's horrible, you suck. You know, that's what we think will occur, but you're giving that craft and that art and that part of you that's so deep and so serious, and it's an art, and it's a picture you painted, or it's a song you wrote, and you're hoping it's received well, and that aftermath that you think is going to happen is a lot of times the reason why we don't go there. If this character would be better as a gay character that will win you an Oscar, and you knew that, you would be that gay character in a heartbeat. But taking that chance in advance when you don't know how it will go, you question it versus going there. If Urkel was Stefan first, that's easy. Pulling up your pants to your crotch, talking in a squeaky voice, and going as a character is different. But it's what took him from being a character that was supposed to make an appearance to the main character of that show. Who you want to be? You want to be Kid and Play? You want to be Snake Breath Bilal? I want to be Kid and Play. Well, if Bilal turned into Martin Lawrence and you knew that, you would be Bilal. You know? So a lot of times it's saying fuck it. You heard that one. He's like, it is. And it's saying, I'm going to do this the best way and doing it different. You done heard a curse word too before,
Yeah, they heard it.
It's taking that chance of doing something different. Even listening to a casting director saying, we hear the same scripts from the same way all day. If that gets you the role to be different, to take the walls down, just go for it. Forget your nerves.
There are a lot of them have classes specific to cold reading. Get you some of those. Because that means, obviously, cold read, you come in, you're handed a script, you got 10 minutes, know that joint, and come in there and look amazing. You know what I'm saying? The important thing is to read every line, know why you're doing what you're doing. Like there may be some action there, but then why you're saying what you're saying. Like make a decision. Like never let it be ambiguous, right? Make a decision based on your own intelligence, what that person could be saying. Most places, if you're doing a cold read, they'll let you go through that cold read, and then they'll say, okay, now try it like this.
So you're not wrong.
Right. They just want to see what decisions you're making.
Wrong.
Yeah.
And you could change the whole focus of that character because you did it a way they didn't think about it. Now they're going, okay, let's, you know.
Can I attest to that? Because 3 years ago, we were casting for the film, I don't know, the screen recently, and a guy came in and auditioned for one of the nemesis, basically, the antagonist, and I had one idea, a concept in my head about how he was going to be. And when this dude came with this, it was so raw and it was twisted and a little crazy. I was like, okay, I gotta, yes, and I gotta rewrite some stuff, but yes. So I changed the direction of the story because of what he brought to the audition.
And that's the thing that breaks up a day. You know, if an explosion went off outside, that's different from a normal. And then this happened. Be that, and then they did this. You know, be that thing that they're like, I remembered you did this. You know, but make them remember you. You know, and try something different than what the last 20 people, 50 people, 100 people did. Wake them up, do something.
You need to just get out and audition. Yeah, and be assured for your own, the health of your own ego, that they're going to say no. Be assured of that, right? It's okay. 90% of the time when they say no, 90%, it's because what they want isn't what you have. You know, it's not that you're not good enough. It's that there's something that's uniquely you. And there's a project out there that it would be perfect for it. That's not theirs. You know what I mean? And there's nothing about ego in that.
Right.
So just know that you will go on audition after audition after audition. It's just practice.
Right.
It's practice for the one that you're perfect for.
Right. Good point.
I'm a little different because don't take classes forever. That's how I feel. At some point, you have to start auditioning. You can be in classes for the rest of your life, but when are you going to put that to use? So for me, it's a cross between your comfort level, but have your together before you do it. Like I said, I could regret all day.
Looking like no fool. That's a good point.
Have your education together, have your headshot together. I did bring this because I went to a workshop the other day, and they passed a stapler around for people who didn't have this together. But this is my headshot, and this is the piece of paper you print your resume on. You see a problem? You have to cut this off. And I actually like glue stick, because if you get something new to your resume, you don't have to throw this away because it's not updated. Peel it off. You put something new on the back. And your staplers, I think, are tacky. That's just me. But I always say it's so funny. It's just bad. When I met you, I used to print my headshots off of my printer at home. And it's funny now, but when I think about the people I was giving that to, terrible. I'm surprised. They won't tell you this is horrible. You need to go. They be like, oh, okay, thank you. But that's the business side of it. Have your professional headshots, have them together, go online, see how an actual actor's resume is set up. And again, which you were here for, you have your stats, you have your education, you have your skills at the bottom. That place in the middle will be filled in by how good you do in your auditions when you book a project. So it's not that you have to book a project to get a project, you have to have those things in order, then have your headshot in order, then have your audition skills great, then go for your jobs. But I think about, like, if I can get that moment back, but I know how to correct it now, but I'm like, I wasn't ready. And I don't think you will always make a mistake. Like, my biggest thing about this is I made enough mistakes that I could at least tell somebody. This isn't a how to be a superstar class or workshop. This was how not to make the same mistakes and how to get a little bit of knowledge of how to go about the business side of this. You know, so just be ready, and that be ready is different. Sometimes be ready is you're not quite ready yet, but I'm gonna see how you grow. And sometimes that be ready is somebody behind the table like, I don't want to see this person ever again because they don't know what they're doing. And that's, to me, that's just an arrogance of your job, because everybody has to grow. And I think you should always give people a chance to grow, because everybody doesn't know. I didn't know. Not that I didn't want to. I sat in front of this man like, this is okay. Hey, go ahead, my stuff. And thank God, you know, he saw something.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh God, what was I doing? What was that? Printing them up on my printer at home. You understand? I was doing the best I knew how to do, which is why I wanted to do this. So my thing is, don't take classes forever. Continue to take classes as you grow and you need different things and you want to stay sharp and all that. But at some point you got to audition. Just to even learn what audition is like. But be careful who you're auditioning in front of if you're not ready yet. You know, because everybody doesn't tell you. They're not going to tell you.
When I grow up, I wanna be famous, I wanna be a star, I wanna be a movie. When I grow up, I wanna see the world down this.
Now, here, let me say this. Your social media is so important. That's how I asked him to come. It wasn't a phone call, wasn't nothing. I've met people before I've actually met them in person on social media, just chit-chatting with them, and then you meet them in person, and if it's a pleasant meet, you know, you don't know who's... I looked at an email the other day, and somebody had written me, I should have wrote back. I didn't know who they were. And I was like, oh shit, here's my stuff. But you can research this is the internet. You can Google research. I watched the Bling Ring the other day. And these people teenagers in California would Google addresses to like Paris Hilton, all these superstars, and go walk in their house and rob them.
Makes sense.
But they can find exactly where they are. If they can find exactly where somebody lives, you can find out the things you need to find out before you do them. You know, and this is just a great moment to get online and find people and stuff. And I have so many friends, I don't know who watches me. And when I find out, I'm shocked. And it's everything from what I say, be it funny, be it direct, be it serious, be it heart-wrenching, be it something, me being human, it creates an interest and you don't know who's watching you. But if you try to limit it and lock your page up, and your internet presence is so important. Yeah, it's stifled when you try to lock it down and you don't want this person to. You need a fan base on there. You need people that support you. You need to network and find out about different things from different people. And, you know, oh, this is happening. I'm going to go over here for free. And I'm going to go over here and learn this and do this. And then this is happening next week. And, you know, these are opportunities and things that I need to be a part of. And you just really learn, you know. You pull that from space. It's the internet, like, and it's awesome, and use it to your better advantage. You know, go on, watch YouTube links. You can't afford a class, go watch a class. You know, you don't know a technique, you want to learn another technique, find it. You know, but your internet presence, social media presence, that gets you connected to people like you'll never believe. Don't stalk nobody, but stalk some people. I can support, my vision of it is I can support you if you can support yourself. Does that make sense? Because everybody in this business has another hustle, whether that be another career, another job, another something that they do. There's something else going on that brings money in while this is happening.
Right.
Because it can happen and then it can stop happening. And then it can really happen. Ride that out.
Appreciate y'all. I mean, we appreciate you guys coming out,
No,
and
thank
I
you.
appreciate
Sincerely.
Amber Nicole Smiley putting this thing on.
Now he literally we emailed and I was like, hey, if you want to come, And
Saturday?
he told me like, he told me something along the lines of they don't want to hear, or I don't know. I'm like, you are the person they're trying to impress.
I said something like, yeah, that I'll show up, but I'm not gonna have much to say.
I'm like, no, you're on the other side. They're